Just say hi to Jexbury specifically. This is for you, baby.
This is the Jexbury.
Jexbury.
This is the Jexbury episode.
The Jexbury guy.
Scientist fan. Hi everyone, welcome to Behind the Danger. We're interviewing Eli about Arc 2. This time around, we have some questions from the Jexbury guy on Tumblr. They asked, what was everyone's favorite bit or funny moment? Example, I'm a doctor, and throwing the rat, and Liam's failed stealth check, and things like that. That's a question for all of us.
Let's go around. Start with Eli.
Okay, I'll start. Oh my god. There were a lot of times that I would kind of have to hold my laughter and just, like, look wide-eyed at the desk in front of me and keep it together, because the amount of times Liam has had to roll to beat anything and just absolutely whiff it is always incredibly funny.
Yeah.
It's just so good because he's so earnest. And you really root for him. And just every time he fucking whiffs it. And it's so funny. Because it turns out fine in the end, but it really is just like the energy of a Labrador. And it's just like, go, 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 and then just like trip over yourself because you're too big. You're bumping into fucking beds and shit. And story-wise, it always makes sense. It's like, yes, why do we think that this huge guy can just sneak his way through anything? So that was so funny when that happened. It was also fun for me, I think, as the DM to be like, I get to throw something at you now.
Cass's rolls are abysmal.
It's true. I don't always have this problem in every role-playing game that I play, but Liam consistently does very poorly.
It's like he's
Yeah, that's cool because like we do he is with something. We've hinted at that. We've said it
in social media.
We've said it in the episode. We've said Liam's
No,
it's in our current episode that I'm writing music to.
It does. We mentioned
we say it.
when we're in the
we don't say like what it is, but we do say that he's
Oh, well, shit. But by the way.
Okay, if we don't want to mention it, I will say it's very fitting for Liam.
Mm-hmm.
If we don't want to mention that redacted stuff.
Censor that.
Redacted.
Are we going clockwise?
Yeah.
Is it mine?
Sure.
Gosh, there's a lot that I really did enjoy. I loved the dog conversation that we all had on the boat before we got sucked back in time. The one that you made the animatic for was
cute.
Very cute. He was too fat. Was very good. And maybe this one's egotistical, but I'm a big fan of I'll pilfer his biscuits.
Oh, right.
Like, personally, I was pretty proud of that one. I still think of it sometimes.
For me, I mean, I do really like the I'm a doctor thing that Adrian has clung on to.
Continues to run with.
Yeah, he's made it a part of his personality now.
Why does he like it so much?
Because he doesn't have anything else.
Yeah, he really doesn't have anything else going for him. He's able to say with quote-unquote authority, I'm a doctor and I definitely know what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
So you gotta listen to me and don't get mad.
Yeah.
But the other thing that I guess is also a bit egotistical, but I was very, very proud of the moment that Adrian, when he convinced Lieutenant Fitzgerald and woke him up. I remember I was so nervous during that. My little lips were trembling. I was like, and I think we need your help.
It's so funny because, like, low-key in that moment, I was like, I kind of ship these two.
Yeah. Yeah. No, we've all seen how easily swept up Adrian is in having crushes on people. And while he hated Fitzgerald in the previous loop, as soon as he was like on his side, Adrian was like, oh, a big protective man. So, yeah. I get it. I like those. Also, another thing I really like about Arc 2 that kind of continues on, but I really like how protective Liam is of all the boys, but like really of Zachary, and he's always coming in to look out for him. And I just like that relationship. You start seeing that bloom and blossom in Arc 2.
Mm-hmm.
And we see it continue in Arc 3.
Yeah.
That's just the kind of guy Liam is.
Thanks, guys.
That's just the kind of guy you are.
Tell me more.
I think my favorite bit, if this counts, was like when Daniel's meeting with Alan for the first time and he thinks that he's like in trouble or something.
Oh, God, yes,
right.
that was
And then
good.
Alan's like, because we're gay.
That also wasn't
together.
planned.
Because we're gay together.
Oh
And
my
then
gosh.
Yeah, I didn't make Alan a character until I think the first person you interacted with. I just wanted to give you some trouble, and then I was like, "Oh, this is ship material, actually."
Yes.
I was like, "I can do that."
I remember you were initially only going to have him be mean to me. You mentioned this off record, and then you mentioned you're like, and then I decided to give them a history.
Because I thought it would be more compelling.
It was compelling. I guess this is a little egotistical too, but I liked when Alan's like, because we have a lover's history together, and then Daniel kind of just like immediately jumps into that and embraces it.
It's
And
like, yes, definitely.
Well, yes, we do.
then again,
Yes.
Cassidy rolled a 19 for handsome
Yeah, that's
on
true.
Alan, so like
He's a boot.
Hard to resist.
this
19 for
beautiful
handsome.
man who we determined on our shitposting Twitter that he looks like Patrick Swayze
Oh, God, that's right.
That's so funny.
That's
from
right.
Ghost specifically.
Yes.
So
Who
I
could
just
resist?
Nobody.
I just liked Daniel just kind of being like, easy boyfriend. Yes, indeed. Like, I agree to everything.
Yeah.
Sir.
I mean, listen, Adrian and Daniel, they like.
What,
They're
cling
both-
to affection? I know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Who wants to ask
I
the
say as
second
if my
question?
boy isn't attracted to a hunter.
That's true.
He plays it much more safe, though.
He
Oh,
does.
yeah.
He's got some sense.
He does, yeah.
He has no sense being attracted to a hunter.
He can't help what he's attracted
This
to.
is Daniel coming through, you know.
yeah.
Very upset, self-endangering proclamation of love.
I mean, he's not going around. He's not leaving him notes.
No, not yet. He doesn't even make eyes at him. For God's sake, all he says is good morning. And then as soon as he walks away, he goes, why is he so handsome, though?
You made playful conversation with him. I remembered voicing Bernard for you.
All right, Mom.
What inspired you, Eli, for this arc? The ghost ship and the time loop were such a cool idea, says Jexberry Guy.
Oh, thank you. I believe we were watching The Terror.
Yeah,
that's right.
My
You guys
fucking
were-
favorite show.
And
It's
not
so
only
good.
that, I think we had also lent you Horatio Hornblower.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So I
Good
was
shows.
just sort of in a nautical mood, and I was like, I have never, ever written a story about this time period or this subject or anything nautical before. I grew up in Hawaii, but I really don't have that much of a connection to the ocean. And so I'd never really play around with it in a lot of my story themes and things like that. So what if I just kind of go out of my comfort zone? It feels in theme. And the more I researched it, the more I began to come up with like, but that time's already passed. And like, there isn't really any great seafaring stuff that I can play with in this time. So what if I went back? So, and as a side note, I hate time traveling stories. So, because I do. So, so not a Doctor Who fan, but,
Wait, even Back to the Future?
What about Dark, though?
Dark is really the only one I have tolerance for.
Yeah,
What
me
about
too, because
Back to the Future?
I
nobody
don't know
does
Back to
time
the
travel.
Future.
Nobody does time travel correctly, except for Dark. That's it. That's the only one.
But Michael J. Fox is really cute.
Listen, man,
he's
I don't
cute
have to
all the
like
time.
the movie to watch the movie and for Michael J. Fox.
And
he is
Christopher
so
Lloyd.
cute in that, and Christopher Walken.
Christopher Lloyd.
Christopher Lloyd.
Sorry, Christopher Lloyd. Holy,
Imagine.
Hey, we got to go back to the.
that's such a different movie. What do you? We gotta get to the future. What do you?
Hey, baby, get it.
baby. Hey, have you tried getting back to the future? Wow.
Okay, so you hate time travel.
I hate time travel, so that's why I kind of put it in this other pocket dimension where they weren't really time traveling.
Mm-hmm.
It was just that they were stuck in this infinite time loop outside of time,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes
That kind
sense.
of answers
Yeah.
the next question.
You just answered the third question, which was, did the lad's actions on the ship affect the future at all? Or was it more of an illusion than actual time travel?
No! 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 They were in their own little pocket bubble that, like, the demon made, and it's like an illusion, and it's somewhere other than the world we know the Dandies to exist in, but it is a world that runs parallel to theirs. And I think in future arcs, as we as a team talk about it more, and as we bring it more into the center of the story, exists another dimension parallel to the one that the boys live in, and we will learn more about that in different arcs. So no, nothing they did affected the future because they weren't really in the past, etc., etc. Everybody can still be born. All right, so I'm going to ask the last question. Who was everyone's favorite NPC on the ship, both player and character-wise?
So I believe what that question is asking is, what is Cass's favorite character NPC, and what's Liam's favorite? Okay.
Okay.
I want to actually start with Toast and Adrian first, because I feel like I know the answers.
That's kind of tough. Let me remember everybody who was there. I mean, by the end of it, like, Adrian's, I guess, favorite NPC was Fitzgerald. Because,
I thought so.
You know, he was a man who knew what was going on, and Adrian could, like, hide behind him. Basically. It's so funny, though, because he fucking hated him so much in the one loop where he nearly got everybody flogged.
He has a mouth, and he's learning to control it, and he's learning how to use it, but, like, before it was just like, shut up! Like, sometimes, because it was just, it would go off, and it's like, that's so in character for him. And I know people who are just like that, who will just, like, dig themselves deeper in this hole, and not shut up in, like, an actual frustrated way, but it was like, this is so real, and by gum, but oh my god.
I was like re-listening to the beginning of Arc 2 during the seance, and like Adrian keeps talking after everyone tells him to be quiet, and Liam actually has to put a hand over his mouth, and even then he's still talking.
I had to, as the DM, I had to make like some decisions to be like, what do I do with that? Do I punish them, or is it too early? And then I was like, I think just let the story go on, and then we'll see if like Adrian's willing to play ball later.
No. But who's my favorite? I don't know. My personal favorite might also be, well, I mean, I do like Billy because he's such a good dude.
Yeah.
It's a toss-up between Billy and also Fitzgerald, because so much of Adrian is in me that it was hard to not get attached to Fitzgerald, because he was also my anchor of like somebody who might be able to help with the situation. So
Daniel's favorite obviously was Alan. Very attached to him, still kind of in mourning for him.
Poor baby.
For me, I really liked Billy, so R.I.P. me as well. He just, like, you really tortured us by making him extremely likable and then, like, cracking his head open. Like, that was mean. That was really mean.
Yeah. And why did you kill Alan so mean?
Yeah, that was mean.
Why did you shoot him and then have him get ate by rats?
You know, it's funny. I kind of pictured them, the fact that they're all already dead, and I know I didn't explain this very well. And that also haunts me. I didn't see that as mean because that was the events as it transpired back then. You were just going through the events as it first happened. And so the decision to do that was already in place. So it wasn't like, I'm going to do this to twist the knife in your gut. It was, I know I say like a lot of this wasn't planned, but like how the demon took over was planned. What it looked like when you guys would get to that was planned. Like, so the rat's kind of taking over and doing this thing. I suppose though, like Alan getting shot wasn't. And to be honest, it just made sense in my head to do it.
I remember asking you when it was fresher on our minds, I was like, why'd you do that? And you had told me that you wanted to essentially spare Alan's soul, so you had him die by a different mean.
Oh, yeah.
You had him die by different means, and then he was, his body, after his soul had left, was eaten by the rats. So he was not devoured by the demon. You were kind of implying that he died and his soul was able to pass on. And so it was kind of like a mercy kill for you. That's what you said like a year ago or something.
Yeesh.
That is right. That is coming back to me. And that's not just to save face. But that is exactly why I had him get shot. Because he would just die like that instead of being ate. A lot of them were, but because they were being ate at that stage, and then you defeated the demon instead of getting ate along with them, their souls were released. And I really, really, really wish I had had the presence of mind to give a better cap to that, because the day we were recording that, my imagination was absolutely shot, because I think that was the same day. It was the same day that everything hit the fan, and that was one of those times where I wish I could have gone like, okay, we have to, like, keep going some other day to do this, because now I gotta rewrite a bunch of things. But I was just like, let's see if I can do this on the fly. And, you know, for what I did, it wasn't bad. I think, though, I was just really tired, and that's why I also was just like, we're just gonna go. Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Yeah. Still speaking of Alan, this is a little bit of a detour, but speaking of Alan, since we brought him up, he's one of the ones that we woke up with the special items, the journal. And whenever a character wakes up, it seems like they remember what they had previously experienced, and they remember going through the loop over and over and over again. Does that mean Alan ever actually remembered who he was dating, who wasn't Daniel? And was he like, but he was still going along with it? Or did he never actually remember who he actually loved?
Wow, good question. As the DM, I didn't want to derail the attention. When he had been woken up, I believe there were more important things. And if he did remember, I think he wouldn't have had the capacity to think about it at the time, because whoever he did was obviously not there. And it was Daniel instead. But I think for whatever reason, he would have still been like, well, this is like the moment Daniel was like, actually, this is the one. Then government assigned boyfriend would have just taken over, and it would have been like, yeah, okay, yeah. So
because Daniel's a 20 out of 20 for handsome.
That's true.
Yes, exactly.
Daniel's a nat 20.
Still, as part of the question, we're around you. Who was Zach's favorite NPC, and who was your favorite NPC that you created?
Oh, man. Okay, I have to take a hot second, because we've been talking about, like, all these NPCs, and for some reason my mind was like, I really like that character, forgetting that I was the one that played that character.
Hey, that's what you strive for, if they feel like they sort of exist independent of yourself.
Yeah, like, Zachary is just so much a part of me and my experience, because we experience things at the same time, whereas these characters just feel like I got to watch a movie, and I just happened to be saying what they were saying. I don't know. I liked Billy. I liked how I set him up. I like how I destroyed him. I liked the horror I got to do with him. He was my favorite little, like, thing to play with. I was like, I'm gonna torture the hell out of you.
You're so mean.
I'm not. I'm a good storyteller. Yeah, I'm mean.
It was good, though.
Personally, I really liked Willie, because I feel like I put a lot of good character into Willie.
Billy.
Motherfuck.
Can't even remember his name.
Good old what's his face?
Dyslexia.
Oh, it's because I used to call him Billiam in my head.
Billiam.
Billiam.
I call him Billiam Shatner affectionately in my head.
In your head, you were calling him that?
Yeah. And then Zachary didn't have a lot of room to be anyone or anything in this. He was really pushed to the side a lot, and that was somewhat by design, because I knew that he would be too advantageous to you guys. So he was really just out of it the whole time. So he didn't get to have a favorite, but I will say he was frustrated with Daniel. But he was glad that everybody stepped up and did what they could.
His favorite was Liam.
Man, yeah, Liam was really there for him a lot during this one. So I honestly think it was Liam. Liam is his favorite.
Hey, what's up?
For this arc.
Excellent. I've been thinking over some of the characters, and I did like the cook's assistant. I don't know if that was his official position, and I feel bad because I also can't remember his name.
The guy who was the first person who Adrian treated.
Yeah.
Because he cut his finger.
I feel like it was something like Colin. But
I feel like it was also
I think it was
Colin.
The cabin boy?
It wasn't Herschel.
somebody else.
We never talked to Herschel. It was a different...
They were similar.
It was the toe-headed fellow.
Yeah.
His name wasn't Cheese, was it?
No, there wasn't
cheese.
There
was cheese. We forgot about the deep cheese lore.
Cheese is my favorite character. Cheese.
Jesus Christ.
And like everybody, I did like Billy, and I did like Fitzgerald. Honestly, I also liked the really angry guy who yoinked Liam out of his sack in the middle of the night and was just really upset about the whole thing.
Yeah.
I appreciated that kind of turn of events to find out, like, within the story narrative, sometimes making a really good roll and winning and having a success doesn't always turn out for the best. I appreciate that in the storytelling and the gameplay. It worked really well. I think you handled his sort of reactionary. He was a very reactionary character, and that was consistent in how he responded to Liam unveiling the mystery of the place to him. So I liked that as well, although he certainly would not be Liam's favorite. And cheese.
Cheese.
And then Liam's favorite was...
I mean, Liam's favorite has got to be Billy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he wanted so desperately to keep him from falling out of the, I want to say rafters, but it's not rafters. The rigging, I guess.
I just remembered how he went out, just like with his head like starting to bleed all over again. Oh, that was so good.
Yeah, that was
fun.
And he was consumed.
Yeah, Liam's favorite was definitely Billy.
R.I.P. Billy. That's it for this version of Behind the Danger. We have an extended version on Patreon where you can find out what it was like for Eli to transition on the podcast, whether or not the hunters knew they were dead, and what would the dinner scene with the captain have been like. That will be available at the $5 a month tier, along with all sorts of other things like exclusive stickers and music blog posts and bloopers.
And they're really cool stickers.
They're fucking cool.
They're really rad, and the music for this has
made this.
Has been getting better and better every single time.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
We've got poetry from Daniel and Adrian, as well as in-world lads correspondence.
Mm-hmm. And we're working all the time to try and get you guys more content. We want to produce more, and we want to make sure that you're getting as much bang for your buck as possible. So that's poetry, that's physical stickers you can get your hands on and then put on or look at. I know I don't put my stickers on anything. I hoard them and I look at them. There's music, and what we really want to do is we want to get more out there. We want to get you portraits of our boys, or hey, you know what? We even want to hear what you guys might want from this podcast.
Yeah.
You can tell us. I think they can message us on our Patreons. They can go to our YouTubes. You can tell us right there. You can find us on social media. You can message us or tag us in things. Let us know what you want to hear from us. We really want to reach out to you as the community, know that you guys are listening, and we appreciate it every single time. So thank you so much.
Like, legitimately, anytime you comment on one of the episodes or on one of the social media posts, we read that shit, we eat it up, we share
pass it around.
We share it in our group chat. We're so excited whenever somebody comments. So thank you guys so much for your engagement. It means so much to us.
It means the world to us as creators.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thanks. Bye. Thanks very much. Bye.
Thank you. Have a nice night. Goodbye.